if you have that interest, now's the time to.
Is it possible to get the?
Yeah, remember, if you check with Michelle Pola here, my chief of staff, she'll provide you some information.
Thank you.
Certainly, you're welcome. Anybody else? Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned about your professional development for social type education,
right,
and that you wanted to implement programs for social education K through 12 in some factor, but you didn't elaborate on it because maybe it's not developed yet. But I was wondering what aspiration you have for that type of program, because there are certain venues that need to be looked at, in my opinion, for education, not necessarily diversity, but diversity encompasses the poverty, diversity
sure,
encompasses religion, diversity encompasses
right,
the culture of a country itself, and it also encompasses status quo.
sure.
So whenever you look at all of those elements together and you try to figure out the end result of where you want to be with that, are you going to focus in on some type of global aspect of common good and common end product for professionals as well as students for this type of thing?
The actual identified needs in this area is going to vary from situation to situation. It could be an issue of tolerance. We responded to the issue of tolerance, for example. It could also be an issue of lack of understanding, and you're right. Lack of understanding is not necessarily just in culture in reference to nationality, but it's also in reference to poverty and so forth. Professional development in HISD, which is one of the more successful departments that we have. It's first of all, it's a self-funded program. In essence, schools buy the services from our professional development department, or they can go buy them from anyone else that might provide those type of services. Ordinarily, they will try to meet the need that's been identified by that school principal or a school community, and customize their services based on those identified needs. Now, in some cases, they might even contract out with communities and schools or whatever the group might be that provide these type of services. So there is not, to answer your question, there is not an overall strategic intent right now identified, because the identified needs could be so diverse that whatever strategic objective that we have would have to be very, very broad.
Will it be different than character counts and these other programs that we've had instilled in?
It may. Would they be different? I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't know that it would be different. You know, and many of those programs continue. Matter of fact, we have a very strong character education department, award-winning, and been around for 20, 30 years actually. That has been very, very successful. But those programs ordinarily will provide services to the classroom level, to the student level. The professional development piece, though, usually provides services more at the adult level.
Right.
Other questions?
You have a question?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
My name is Berkun Kaya. So my question is about the college-bound education you're talking about. Several months ago, I requested some sort of data from State Texas Education Agency about the high school graduation and entering to the college from 2005 all the way to 2008, in order to make a comparison with my school and the state. And when I saw the data, it was really so scary. So, for example, in 2005, there were 240,000 students graduated from high school, and only 120,000 of them went to college. There is no information, almost half of the students. There is no track, no information. That was kind of scary for me, and then we discussed at the school what we can do to improve our college-bound education. What are your suggestions? I mean, we have some, early college program we started, research programs going on with the colleges and universities, and we are inviting people coming from outside universities, college professors, talking with the kids. But do you have any other suggestion? What can be done?
Well, let me tell you, one of the first things that needs to be done at the state level is being able to track young people that leave our high schools and actually move on into higher education. We're just now starting to have those levels of discussions. I'm talking about statewide, I'm not talking about HISD. There is no database that I'm aware of that absolutely tracks high school graduates that move on to college. Matter of fact, the various databases that are available are not comprehensive. There's one in particular that's very popular where the University of Texas does not participate. Well, that's a large number of kids that go to the University of Texas. I think the state of Texas, first of all, needs to be able to establish a database that can literally track young people. Not only track them going in, but can track them as they stay in higher education. Because as high as the dropout rate is in high school, it's much higher in college. Many more young people start their freshman year and never finish. Many more so than drop out of high school. But let me comment a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the dropout issue in Houston, just briefly. There's been a lot of debate as to what the dropout rate is. A lot of debate, you know. And frankly, politicians love to throw out wild numbers out there, 50%, 60%, whatever it may be. All right. There's a lot of different ways you can count dropouts. A lot of different ways. So until we can agree how you're going to count the dropout, we can't ever agree on the number. The state